All right. So, good morning. It's really good to see you here. We are full house. We are 100. And hopefully it will remain that way. It's really good to see you this morning. Um, what I'm going to do today, as I said, is that we're going to talk about rejection and publication and the reasons why our papers get rejected. So before I begin, uh, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do we publish? What is the reason that we publish? Can anyone answer?
Yeah, may I, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, we do publish to get acknowledgement of our academic contribution towards research.
Wonderful. Okay, academic contribution. Let's see, is it there? Does this explain your answer, Shafat? To be read,
Yeah, so in
to
fact,
be cited.
my voice is echoing.
Yeah, I think the reason is Fariha is next to you and she's used
Yeah,
to
she's very
speaking.
close to me.
Yeah, that's the reason. So
Yeah,
if
so
you can go mute, that would help.
all right.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks, Shafkat. Thank you very much. Shafkat said we publish to contribute academically. We publish to be read. We publish to be cited. We publish to make change in academia and in our community. But in a word, if you want to answer in a word, what that word would be. Why do we publish in a word? You could use the chat room, you could unmute and answer. Yes.
To add to the existing body of literature,
So what's that one word?
to add to the body of the existing literature.
To add to the body of the existing literature. How many words was that?
Okay.
But that's the answer, of course. To add to the existing body of the literature. Sure. But can you condense it to one word? Contribute, improvement, encourage, enhance, career. All of these words are important, and I like some of them because
Promotion.
they are really realistic. The answers I have so far to be read, to be cited, they are so idealistic. Well, my answer is the word
Promotion,
impact.
Dr. Vahid.
Promotion, I like that too. To share, to validate. Yeah, all these answers they make sense. Innovation, yes. But you see, the answer that came to my mind was the word impact because this is the word that there is this fever in academicians and among students uh, when it comes to impact. Everybody wants to be published in journals with high impact factor. Everybody wants to make impact. Everybody wants to have a high H index, right? So that is the word. But the thing is, the question um, is it real? Is this answer real? Do you agree with this answer? Do we really publish to create impact all the time? Well, with your answers, I can guess that
Yes.
you would answer maybe no. A lot of you would answer no. If there is anyone who would disagree with this, please.
Shall we answer in the chat box
Yeah, sure. I'm
or
also
to
checking.
talk?
I'm checking the chat box. Your voice is clear. Why don't you just share?
Yeah.
You can,
Dr. Fahid,
yes.
can we talk or just
Yeah, go ahead.
we can answer?
Talk better.
Yeah, yeah. If I am to answer this question, to be honest with you, in almost all cases, we publish to get promotions in our careers or to fulfill a requirement for a degree. For example, as the PhD requirements to get the PhD, you have to publish 2 articles uh, in Q1, Q2 papers, for example, journals.
I love that answer. You know why? Because your answer is so realistic, right?
Yeah, yeah,
When your answer is, I publish to create impact, then, that answer sounds something like, an answer from heavens. Uh, so that's the next thing I'm going to say. That this is true, of course. We publish to create impact, but that's an ideal world. That would be an ideal world, not a real world. Okay. In a real world, that's exactly what we do. We publish to make sure that we get that scholarship. When we are students, we publish to meet our KPI when we are staff members, to get that promotion, to survive in academia. There are universities that simply let go of their academic staff if they don't produce, if they don't publish. So that's why publication has become so important, and so important that even after people die, I heard there was someone who left the QR code to his publications on his tombstone. Have you heard of that? So this is something that doesn't stop, and the fever is so high that people even don't let go of it after they die. Even though I don't think it really matters after we die. Yeah. So what we are going to talk about today is all about publication of decent papers in decent journals, not publishing in high impact journals. Okay, because when it comes to high impact journals, they have very, very idealistic reasons for rejecting papers. There are journals that will reject your paper in a week just because they are not new and they are not discussing something really, really new. So, which means, novelty value. If your paper doesn't have any novelty value, they will just reject the paper because they have a lot of papers in the line, and they they can be very, very selective. So we are not talking about those journals. We're talking about average journals, and we are also talking about average papers today. Okay, and I hope it will be useful for you. Uh, that's the topic then. Top 10 reasons for rejection. What I'm going to share today is 5 reasons for preview rejections and 5 reasons for review rejections. What's the difference between preview and review? Uh, Preview means you submit your paper, the paper is not reviewed yet, the editors take a look at your paper, usually the internal editors and the editor-in-chief. They take a look at the paper and they ask themselves, is this paper worth review or is it ready for review? And then they send it for review. Otherwise, they send it back to the author. But that sending back of the paper to the author is what I call rejection. Okay? Or asking for resubmission, which is something next to rejection. Okay, so these will be the the data. This is the data that we collected for this presentation. By we, I mean Sahel and me. Okay, the analysis was majorly done by Sahel. He will come into off and on, and I will ask him to share his opinions because he's been helping me with the journal for some time now. Okay, Sahel, is there anything you would like to say? And while you're talking,
May,
I will.
may, maybe
Please.
doctor just check the text box before you move forward. I mean, just to check the chat box.
Tell me,
Maybe.
go ahead.
Sorry?
What's happening? What's happening there?
No, I just mean like some people shared their answers, so maybe just want to look at it
Go
and
ahead,
comment on it.
share those answers.
No, not me. I mean you. I just wanna. I'm like just
Did you find anything interesting there? Please share with us.
Yeah. Someone said like I disagree. Some of us just want to get doctoral degree. Not everyone should be Noam Chomsky. So I felt like this one interesting.
That's a good.
What do you think, doctor?
That's a good one.
So yeah, doctor, I just want to share with you that.
That's it. Okay. So I will ask you to come in again, and Sohail, I will need your help with the winners. Okay. Because we are going to have winners in today's workshop. And if you are the winner, you will hopefully leave the workshop full-handedly and happily. This is the journal I've been talking about. This is the Journal of International Journal of Education and Literacy Studies. And Sohail has been helping me with this. And the data that we are sharing comes from the review and preview results of papers submitted to this journal. So I will refer to this journal again and again. So that's why I'm sharing this so that you don't, it doesn't become a question for you. What is Vahid referring to here? All right. Okay. All right. So back to here. All right. This is where we stop. Okay, this is the important slide. If you win today, and if you're number one, by number one, I mean, if you are the person who answers to the highest number of questions, if you want to publish with iGels, you will receive 50% waiver. And if you're the runner-up, you will receive 25% waiver. And if you don't win, you still get a free pass to participate in Nicolai 2020. In fact, everybody does. Okay, so for your information, Nicolai is free for participants, unless you want to participate in the workshops. If you want to participate in the workshops, there is some fee that you will have to pay. I think it's 50 ringgit. Yeah, you can check with the website, or if there are any of my colleagues here who would like to share that information, you can just unmute and help. Okay. So I want to start with the first reason. At this point, if you answer this question correctly, this is the top reason for rejection of papers at preview level. So which means before your paper is sent for review, it gets rejected. Okay. So if someone can guess this, you will receive 3 points.
So title and objective findings results.
So it's almost everything. Shafkat, you're very clever. So title, objectives, methods, everything. Come on, it's just one word. It's just one word.
So title, first thing title.
Okay, let me help you. So you lose 3 points. I'll give you, let's see. Okay, now I'll give you 2 points if you can answer this question. This is a hint. If your manuscript has this problem, you wish it had been rejected. You wish it hadn't been published. Any
Yes.
guesses? Yeah, you could also use the chat room. Sohail is having a look at it.
Language.
Language. It is one of the answers, but it is not the top reason of rejection. But very good.
Some methodology.
Methodology. Well, no.
Doctor, is it a format?
Format.
Format.
Wow. You are very dangerous people because, you know, the answers you're giving are among the abstract, well, they are among the answers, but they are not the top reason. Let me give you more help, but I will give you just 1 point now. Okay, more help.
Originality.
Yay! Who said that? Please type your name in the
Muhammad
chat.
Sani. Muhammad Sani.
Sahel, can you please take note of that name? All right, so that's it. The word is. What do you see here? This is a snapshot from Turnitin. This is very familiar, right? Plagiarism, that's right. So the reason why a lot of papers get rejected, the top reason is plagiarism. Before even they are sent for review, which is very meaningful. Okay. In IJAWS, look at this percentage. It's very high, isn't it? 18.48, almost 1 in 5 papers get rejected just because of originality. And when it comes to originality, percentage doesn't really matter. So this is my suggestion to you that if you know, it is the time for you to submit your paper or your thesis. Before you submit, make sure you go through the Turnitin report very carefully. Look, thanks to Sohail for finding this example. This is an example of, let's see, I can't because it's virtual, so I'll have to stop sharing and I'll have to share this. Okay. And then I will have to, okay. Yeah, now it's working. Good. Here is a paper. Thanks to Sohail for having found these samples. As you see, its percentage was 14%. Okay, so for most of us, 14% is okay. But is it? Just take a look at these highlighted parts, and this is the dangerous one, isn't it? It's well, a complete sentence here.
Doctor?
Sorry, doctor, we can't see.
You can.
Yes, the screen is not showing.
Yeah, it's not showing the example.
Oh, the example is not showing. I see. Okay. How about now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
So
Okay, good.
this is the one. This is the one I was going through. So this is a Turnitin report of a paper. Its index, its similarity index was 14%. But you see, there are full sentences with it which have been copied and pasted from internet sources, and that's very dangerous. By very dangerous, I mean really dangerous. Especially, you know, imagine you're publishing this to just to get hold of your certificate, and you do, but after 10 years, someone sues you. and someone says, hey, look, this sentence you have published in your paper was from my paper or my thesis, and then you may be a full professor, but then you will be in trouble because everything you have done is based on that paper, and that can put your whole career and your integrity under question. So take originality very seriously. It's one of those problems that is worth attention. You see, another full sentence. You may wonder, but I cited this person, but how come Turnitin took it as a case of plagiarism? The reason is this person most probably is doing some secondary citation here, which means the author has taken this from somewhere and is not telling the reader that, look, this is Shafi'i as cited in somewhere else. They have removed that somewhere else and they have referred to the original text, which is also very dangerous because imagine Shafi'i didn't say that. Okay? Imagine someone else said that. That's also plagiarism. If you're attributing something which someone didn't say to someone, then you're plagiarizing. Plagiarism can have many different forms, right? Okay, so back to here. I'm going to share another example with you, which had 95% plagiarism similarity, but that was not considered plagiarism. Let's see. Now I will have to do this. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you should be able to see it now. This is another paper, and as you see, it's all highlighted. It's all highlighted. But this is acceptable. Can you guess why this is acceptable? Any guesses? So the question is, the similarity of this paper was 95%, but we accepted it at preview level. Good. Cassandra, good job. Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, we have some very clever and highly focused participants. So as you see, this is 95% similarity, but 93% of the similarity was from a paper, a student paper submitted to University College London. And what we do at this point is we send back to this review report, this preview report, and this Turnitin report to the author, and we ask them, is this your unpublished work? It's important that the work be unpublished. If it is published work, then it is self-plagiarism. So we make sure the author hasn't published it elsewhere. If that is the case, it's not plagiarism. Okay, so percentages don't matter. That's what I keep saying. I remember, Sahel, if you remember, we had this paper which had 19%, and we, somehow it slipped through the preview process. We sent it for review, and you can't imagine what happened. One of the reviewers said, "This sentence is my sentence. The sentence is my sentence." So which means the reviewer happened to get to review the paper which had plagiarized his paper from his paper. So when I looked at the Turnitin report, I noticed that, yeah, it was a whole sentence that this author had selected from that paper and had not cited the original writer. So be very careful when you publish. when it comes to uh, plagiarism, it can be a very, very tricky problem. Okay, so is there anything you would like to share at this point? Anyone? Any experiences? Okay, so otherwise we will move on to reason number 2. So now, what do you think the second reason was when we analyzed the data? You can unmute and answer, or you could just type your answer in our chat room. The first reason at previous stage was originality. Now tell me what you think the second reason is that papers get rejected. So hey, please check. I have too much to do here. If there is anyone who answers,
No problem, Dr. Ali.
no, not yet.
I will.
Sarah says out of scope. Novelty. Tagreed says novelty. Who says not research field of the journal? That scope match with the journal. These are wonderful answers, but they are not the second. We're talking about the second top. That's Gloria. Okay, Gloria, yeah. So hey, that's our winner. And she gets 3 points. Gloria, does that make you happy? All right. So I will have to skip these. This is the last thing that writers worry about, but the first thing that catches the reader's attention. Which means when you're writing something, you really don't care about your language. You just write because you're focused on the content. But the first thing that catches the reader's eye is your grammar, your vocabulary. If there is some gross language error, it will catch the attention of your reader. So, which means, yeah, that's the answer. The second reason is language. And language is the reason. Is there someone who would like to say something? Yeah, that's right, Bikash. But I think the first person who answered the question was Gloria. So she gets the 3 points, and 3 points because she answered the question at this point without any hints. All right. Okay. So the answer is language in IELTS, in IELTS, almost the same as originality. Almost 17% of papers get rejected for language issues. Of course, when it comes to top ranking journals, they are very intolerant when it comes to language errors. They will just reject your paper. Which is of course not fair because the paper may be a very good paper. It may have a lot of novelty value, but normally a paper which has a high novelty value usually is well written, usually. So that's why, a language accounts for a lot of variance when it comes to paper publication. So that's why make sure the paper is free from errors before you submit it. Okay? That's the easy reason the editor may have to reject your paper. You don't want that. Okay, so let's move on to the third reason. We are moving according to the frequency. That the top frequency was for originality. The second top was language. What do you think is the third top reason for rejection? Dr. Arvaya is there. Thank you, Dr. Arvaya. She wants you to fill up a form here. She shared a form here. Please share it again because we are using the chat room for our game. I saw the answer, Sohail. Did you see the answer? It's I think the first person who answered this question was Ali.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Or Bikash. No, that was for the previous question. You will have to be very quick. Content, scope, yeah. That's the answer. But before we move on to the answer, it's submissions with this problem take the shortest preview time to reject. You just take a look at the title, as Shafkat said. You take a look at the title and say, no, this is not meant to be one of the papers to be published in this journal. And the reason is they are out of the scope. Yeah, the word is scope. And it explains for 15% of rejections. Which is very funny, you know. It shows me people don't people are in a hurry, and that there is this high fever to publish, so they don't even spend a few minutes to take a look at the journal. Our journal is called Literacy, so we get a lot of papers on literature. People think it's a literature journal, and well, we have to write back to them and tell them, sorry, this is a paper on literature, not literacy. So I usually transfer them to our JLC journal, our faculty journal. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth reason. We have two more to go. So thanks for helping. So if you can guess this, if you can incomplete study. If you can guess this at this point, you get 3 points. All right. I can't wait any longer, so I will move on. I will give you a hint. It's a 6-letter word, and this is something that shouldn't matter, but it does. Yeah. Annie is very good. Annie, how are you? Who are you? One of our students? Okay. Asma, yeah. Asma, you were just a little late. I think you were typing at the same time as Ali, but she hit first. Okay, so yeah, format shouldn't really matter. So you keep wondering, why do they ask me to italicize this, to boldface that? At this point, my paper may get rejected anyway. But it really matters because format matters, and it explains 10%, almost 10%. 1 in 10 papers get rejected because of format problems and for ignoring formatting guidelines of the journal. The reason is this doesn't matter for the journal, but indirectly it does, which means when I submit my journal for evaluation and when Scopus is assessing the journal, the first thing they look at is the list of references. If there is anything wrong with the formatting of the references, for example, one reference is in MLA, another reference is in APA, they just reject the paper, the journal. They don't include the journal in Scopus. So this is format is one of the 4 important criteria that Scopus or ISI or other bodies, indexing bodies, have when they evaluate journals. That's why journals take this very seriously. The last reason. We have been talking about the reasons for rejection. This is the last one. Ali, you're a PhD student. That's good. Creativity. Ali, the 5th question. How many points does she have? Sohail, double submission. Oh, I hate double submission.
She has 6 points. Ali has 6 points.
Wow. So she's the winner so far. Okay, double submission, no. No, that's not the answer. But yeah, if I notice that, I just write back to the author. Sometimes they BCC, they email the paper and they BCC it to a lot of journals. But we had authors, I don't remember, so I don't know if you remember. There was this author, I counted, she submitted to 12 journals and she didn't even BCC. She sent it to 12 journals and I replied. I wrote to her and I told her, well, consider this as reject. We can't process this paper. You should send it to just one journal. No guesses. Okay, that's good. So I will give you a hint. What does this mean to you? How many letters is it? 12 letters. It's definitely not creativity. What was that? Come again.
Coherence.
Sorry, coherence. Who was that? Florida, was that you?
Yes.
I can recognize your voice. That's amazing. Good. Okay, so Sohail, Florida gets 2 points because she could guess the answer without without hints. Organization, I would call that organization, but coherence is almost the same thing. You know, it's a paper is like a story. What comes first, what comes next matters. How you organize your thoughts matters. And well, in our faculty, we have a lot of students who are working on move analysis and genre analysis, and you're familiar with Swale's cause model, and you know, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this. Many of you are doing research in this area, yeah? So this is not something new. This is the 5th reason of rejection, preview reason for preview rejection in our journal. Yeah. Nima, is there anything you would like to say? No. Okay. All right. Nima is my other assistant editor. Okay. So make sure your ideas make sense. They are linked well, coherence of ideas, yeah, organization, and the structure of your paper. We receive papers, you see, for example, in which the research questions are not highlighted. It's just a paragraph at the end of the introduction. We want to show it clearly to the reviewers where they can see the research questions. So it's important to have a heading called research questions in our journal. In other journals, it may not really matter. But the key is to take a look at the template. The key point here is to take a look at the guidelines, the journal guidelines. Take a look at the templates. If you do, most likely you will follow the format and you will avoid, you know, rejection. Okay, so the top 5 reasons. So far, what have we been doing? I have a few more questions here at this point. This is something like a recap, so please get ready to answer my next question, which is related to what we had before so far. This is my first question. I wish I had never published this paper. Which one of the reasons would this relate to so far?
High similarity report.
Yeah, Good job, Shafkat.
Plagiarism.
Yeah. Okay, Sahel, please give 1 point to Cassandra and 1 point for Shafkat because, you know, one of them said the answer, one of them typed the answer. Good job. Wendy, I also heard you, but yeah, that's originality, similarity, plagiarism. Question number 2. Why should it really matter if journal titles are italicized or not?
Formatting.
So you're good. You're good. Okay. So Shafkat is so ready. So Sahel, please 1 point. Look at this for Asma. You got a point. Good, but not 3 points. So 1 point for Asma, 1 point for Shafkat. That's format. Correct. How about number 3? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
These are the answers to, you know, the questions related to those 5 top. Look at you. Okay, they are answering the question before I ask it, but that's okay. Lou, you deserve a point. So please, Sohail, give Lou a point. That's because that's the answer to the 3rd question. You are wonderful audience. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And the
Organization
answer to the
language.
3rd question. Lou, had you seen the slides before?
No, sir.
Okay. So that the question was related to language. So let's move on to reason number 6. From this point on, we are talking about the review results. We send the papers for review after preview, and then after the review, we collected the data, and these are the papers which were rejected. The data comes from those papers which were rejected. So what do you think the top reason was for rejection after review? Scope, idea,
The methodology.
novelty, methodology. Okay. Amy. Oh, before Amy. Was there anyone else before Amy? That's Amy. Yeah, Shafkat, you also said that, but you said that after Amy. Is that right, Sohail?
So the same answer I have already given you.
Okay. Give 3 points to Shafkat too. He deserves it. He's so focused. And, well, you know, people would be sleeping most typically at 6:30. He's awake, listening to this, so he deserves 3 points. Okay, so this is the top reason why reviewers reject manuscripts, and it's got 3 O's, and that's methodology, correct?
Methodology.
Yeah, it explains almost 15% for rejection, and you know, it's this doesn't mean that the methodology is wrong. Sometimes the paper is rejected because the methodology is missing, or because the methodology is not clearly described. Yeah, of course, sometimes the methodology may be wrong, the data analysis method may be wrong, or um, the methods and the results may not match. But in most cases, it's the question of clarity. People are not clear about how they did this. We call it audit trail. They don't leave an audit trail for future researchers. If someone wants to replicate what they have done, they will not be able to do it by following the methods the way they have been stated in the paper. So reviewers reject the paper. Remember, especially if you have a qualitative paper, your methodology should be very, very thorough. Also in the quantitative papers, your description of how you took care of validity, reliability, they really matter. Of course, this will depend If you are from the area of literature, I was recently I was reviewing Shafqat's colleagues' thesis. It was a thesis on literature, and the methods were just 3 or 4 pages, and that was okay because there was almost no sampling. The sample was 2 books, and the method was literary analysis, and
Yes.
all the frameworks were mentioned in chapter 2. So all the author had to do was to cross-ref to the previous chapter. So what I'm saying is it will also depend on your area, but people usually expect a thick description of methodology when it comes to publication. How are you? Excellent. Okay.
Good, sir.
Great. Let's move on to the 7th reason why papers get rejected after review. This is after review. All right.
Contribution.
Novelty, contribution, findings. Let's see.
Statement of the problem.
Statement of the problem. This was mentioned before as one of the reasons for preview rejections. What do you think it is? It's 11 letters. Yay! Well, you're all very attentive, but Ellie is so smart. So she has something that I would call OQ. Can you guess what OQ means? OQ is opportunistic.
Structure of the article.
That's right. Yeah. This is structure or organization. Yeah. So, do you remember that? Do you remember that this was also one of the reasons of rejection at preview level? You may wonder why was this paper, if it had any organization problems, why was it sent for review? Well, this happens because when you preview, you're focusing on a lot of things. You're focused on all these factors and more that I have mentioned, and they may skip through your eyes. We are humans. And apart from that, when it comes to organization, it's a subjective matter. You take a look at something and you like it, but someone else looks at it and doesn't like it. The reason is we are different and we all have different channels and different styles when it comes to reading and thinking. So that's why someone may take a look at something and may think it's well organized, while other people may take a look at it and, well, reject it. Okay, so this has 2 meanings. When a criterion is repeated, it could mean that that criterion is subjective, and to me, organization is subjective. Okay, that's why we have to do a lot of research on that. Okay, so let's move on to reason number 8. What do you think this reason is? Thank you very much, Dr. Albi. Please complete this form that Dr. Albi is sharing in our chat room. So we talk about the 8th reason, and Amy says novelty. Let's see if Amy is correct. Well, yeah, Jairo, good job, Jairo. Sahel, please give Jairo 2 points because he answered before I hit, I gave more clues. So the answer is language, correct. And it explains almost for 10% of rejections. Look, when we send papers for review, we tell the reviewers, don't worry about the language, just focus on the content. But they do anyway, because language is so in the foreground. You go through the language and into the paper. So it's people keep saying, yeah, language doesn't matter, just communicate. No, it matters. When you're not able to write clearly and accurately, how can people expect accuracy in your results, in your analysis? So it really matters. That's why people reject, because of language, almost 10%, more than 10% of the time. Even though we tell them, don't worry. In fact, in the review report, we have an extra section where the reviewer can say, this paper should be sent for review, for editing, serious editing. But even then, there are reviewers who just reject the paper. Okay, let's move on to the ninth reason. 2 points for the one who says what this means. But you'll have to give me the exact words.
Balance, consistency.
Consistency, balance, no. 2
Weightage.
points. Weightage. No. No. Yay! Oh God, Lou, you're clever. And Lou, you see, you said you were afraid of being here because there were so many PhDs here, and here now there you go. You got 2 points. So the word has 3 eyes, and that's significance. So which means novelty also, or the problem statement. They are all the same somehow. Impact. How important is this? How much novelty does your research have? These are the things which also matter for reviewers a lot. In fact, when it comes to top ranking journals, this is the first thing that matters for those journals. Most probably because the submissions they receive don't have those other problems of authenticity, originality, language. They are all okay, but so they look at the significance. Yeah. They want to know whether you're doing this for the first time in the world. So don't forget to add these when it comes to paper publication. Yeah, of course, I will share the recording. I will share this recording in my YouTube channel, and you will have access to this. Don't worry. So where was I? I was talking about, yeah, this. Look, when you want to submit a paper and get an acceptance from a journal, it's something like it's like what? It's like asking someone's hand in marriage. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, or it's something like advertising, promoting something. Yeah, you will have to be very convincing and very persuasive. You will have to tell that person that, look, I'm Prince Charming. Look, this paper is the best. Look, if you don't publish this paper, I will publish it elsewhere, and I will get 1,000 citations, and I will burn you to the ground. Yeah, you should give that kind of feeling. And how do you do that? You don't do that in your cover letter. You do that in your paper, and especially in your abstract. The first sentence should be your motive sentence. Why should this study be published? Why should this paper uh, why should this paper be published? Why should this study have been conducted? You should justify all that, and if you do, you will stand a higher chance of acceptance. Okay. Is there anyone who would like to say anything so far?
Prof, in significance, can we add the paper is rejected due to lack of argument?
Well, lack of argument, well, some people may call it organization or coherence or, but yeah, why not? Why not? But lack of argument, to me, it's a little vague. If I receive that review comment from my reviewers, I usually remove it because it's not really clear unless they leave an in-text comment and clearly state where there was lack of argument. If that is the case, that's acceptable. Otherwise, the authors may get confused. Well, what does lack of argument mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cohesion and coherence.
Yeah. Shafkat, you're guessing number 10?
Yes, sir.
Doctor,
So clever. Yes, Sahai.
can I just add something about significance?
Please.
Okay, so significance is more like, why did we do this research in the first place? Why do we just like do this research for the sake of publishing, just to get our names out there, or we have a valid reason, solid reason, a problem that we want to solve, or something that will drive us move forward in terms of the body of knowledge, or just like in order to solve a problem or find a solution, or so that's, I think that's significant.
Very true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, and as I said, it really should come first. I had a final year project student. Nisreen, are you here? I didn't see her. No. Well, she had, there was an incident. She lost her best friend in a motorcycle accident. It happens a lot in Malaysia. And then she decided to do her final year project, her degree final year project on motorcycle accidents. Sohail, you were there when she was presenting. So when you do that kind of research, what you do is really significant and it really matters. I mean, people want to know what happened, and the way you do it is significant too, correct? Which means you're doing what you're doing because it's flesh, it's your something like your flesh and blood. It's so important to you, and that was the case in her uh, experience. So when you're doing research, make sure it has significance. If it doesn't, highlight it. Find a reason for its significance. Otherwise, people will not publish it. Yeah, it is sad, but it's a part of life. What's really sad is that we don't do any research in that area. The research we do is the Speech Act, and I'm not saying Speech Act is not impactful. It is impactful, but it's all about classroom discourse, and no one does anything on husband-wife discourse, and the reason
Or the research we do on cleft construction.
Okay. Subscribe. You and your cleft constructions. Okay. Guys, this is the last one. Format, Amy, you have a high opportunistic intelligence. Referencing, conclusion. Let's see. Okay, 2 points now.
Yes.
Well, your
research objectives.
No. Yeah, none of the answers have been correct so far. So 2 points so far. No. Fariha findings. No.
Title.
Okay. Now 1 point. It starts with L. It's the first step in conducting empirical research. What do you have to do? Yay, Zhang.
Literature.
Good job. Good job, Ray. That's literature. Correct.
Yes.
Good job. So, Sohail, 1 point for Ray. That's literature. By literature, what reviewers really want when it comes to literature is, the past theory, the past studies, and the past methodology literature behind the paper. They want that, and they want it to be highly critical. They want it to be synthetic. They want it to be detailed at the same time, not really wordy. Perhaps shown in a figure, in a table. They expect. Some of them have really high expectations when it comes to literature. They want it to be recent. Yeah. They want it to be global and then localized, all that. Yeah. Okay, so that's our number 10. So far, more questions. This is my first question, so you can get more points. Who is the winner so far, Sohail? Who's number 1? Don't tell me, Amy.
Not yet. Let's finish this and then we can wrap, add the
Okay.
points.
So you need time. You need time to be
So
able
add the
to.
points. Yeah.
All right.
Like-
All right. So I will ask the next question then. The
Okay, sure.
next question is, what are the top three preview rejection reasons? In order. Please type. Could you please type?
Originality, language errors, formatting, referencing problem.
Look at Cairo. Cairo, before you could open your mouth, Shafkat, Cairo had typed all three. You must.
So my mic was muted, sir.
Yeah,
You muted me.
sorry. I'm sorry, Shafkat. I have to do that because it's echoing. I don't want the audience to get hurt. It's the echo is very high. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah. Okay, give Shafkat a point.
Doctor,
Go ahead. Yeah.
Doctor, how many points I have to get to Mr. Cairo?
Yeah.
Is it 3
what do
or
you
2?
think? You decide. You decide about that because he gave three words, so you may want to give him 3 points.
3 points. I think.
Yeah.
I think I'll give 3 points.
Okay. So my next question is, what do you think is the next question? Zahra is answering. Are you answering?
Top 3 rejection of reviewers.
Yeah, that's the question. So what were the top 3 reasons?
Organization, language errors,
So what was
significance,
the first one?
contribution.
The first one was methodology. The second one
Yes.
was organization, and the third one was language. So, Shafkat, you also answered, but in the wrong order. So, yeah, go ahead, Sahel, please. You're wonderful, guys. Amazing. I like that. So, methods, organization, and language. These were the top 3 reasons why people reject papers at review level. How are you?
Excellent.
Energetic and
Good,
motivated.
Good, doctor.
Okay, it's really great. It's really great to hear that. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to do at this point is we could have a short break. It's 10:47. Do you want to have a short break? Do you think it's necessary, or do you want me to move on? Just click on yes or no. Do you want me to move on? Move
Yes,
on.
sir.
Thank you. I love that. Okay. So I will go back. Usually, in the middle, we have a song or some music, but I won't do that today. I will just move on, especially because I have to go back to UPM. At 11:45, I have a meeting. So I will go back here and I will share this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is some bonus, uh, some bonus presentation, because you were really focused. I'm going to also talk about 7 tricks to avoid rejection. So we have been talking about rejection all this time. Now I want to move on to some strategies that you can use to avoid rejection. Before I begin, any ideas you can share. If you have any strategies, or if you think you have any strategies to avoid rejection, please share. I'm going to share 7. So I'll share 7 tips for avoiding rejection. If you have any questions, please ask. If you have any tricks to avoid rejection, please share. None? So we'll continue to the first um, trick. We have cases like this sometimes. Sometimes we publish papers like that, don't we? Poor paper. And the poor people are the journal editors and the reviewers. They have to go through a lot of pain to make the paper, to salvage the paper. Okay, so the first trick that to me is really helpful is knowing the editors. When you know the editors, you stand a higher chance of admission, of acceptance. And you may ask, how? How can I know editors? Should I send them flowers or candies on Valentine's Day? The answer is no. The best way to get to know editors is to participate in conferences. If you submit a paper through a conference to a journal, you stand a higher chance of acceptance because those people know you. You have seen them, you have had lunch with them. So, which means participate in conferences, network. Don't just stay in your office or in a classroom. Participate. If there is a conference, please participate, especially if you have your results. You can present, you can participate, and Mikolek will be one of them coming soon in March. Yeah. The second trick is to get to know what the monkey wants and give what the monkey wants to it, not what you want to give a monkey to the monkey. If the monkey wants a banana and you give it a coconut, the monkey will not be happy. Okay, so how can I know? Who is the monkey, by the way? The monkey is the editor. And how do I know what the editor wants? By reading the guidelines. So if you take a look at the journal author guidelines or submission guidelines, usually journals, every journal has that. They have the author's guidelines or submission guidelines, and in those guidelines they also have templates where they share the exact style that they expect from you to report your results, to the way you write your title and all that, the number of words. I get that a lot too. Sometimes we receive papers which are 20,000 words long. So we write back to the authors and tell them, look, we are not publishing books. This is only a journal article, right? So it has to be below 10,000 words. So give the monkey what it wants. Number 3, you don't have to tell people that you're publishing your thesis. Reviewers and editors are not impressed when you tell them you're publishing your thesis. So avoid that if you can. Of course, I'm aware that some universities mandate it. They want the students to mention that this paper comes from a thesis supervised by so and so, especially when we get submissions from Turkey. Apparently in Turkey they have to do that. They have to mention, they have to have a publication note in which they should mention, but UPM doesn't have that. So just make sure your supervisor is the corresponding author, and he or she will take care of it. Yeah. So don't betray that this comes from your thesis. People will not be impressed. If you had some funding, mention it, acknowledge it. People will like that. Because people trust editors and reviewers trust papers which were funded. Because when people fund your research, it means it has been reviewed by some panels. It means it has impact. So mention that. This is also important. Submit to journals you have read. Because if you read journals, definitely you cite from them. And when you cite from them, they like it because you will increase their impact factor. Of course, finally, it's not good for them because you are self-citing. But some journals like it, so it may work. So it's always a good idea to submit to journals that you know. Because you know the format, you're used to them. You know how people write. People who publish in those journals write their papers. So you're used to the format and the style and the readership, the scope and all. Okay? So publish in journals you read. And publish in journals which are highly regular, which means they are monthly or bi-monthly, quarterly, okay? But not annual or biannual. So if a journal publishes 2 issues every year, it's still okay. Our JLC is biannual, but it's prompt. We process the papers very quickly. But most journals which are annual or biannual, if you, especially if you're in a hurry to get that acceptance letter, it may take some time. So before you submit, make sure the journal has high publishing regularity, high frequency. Okay, and don't forget this, your results matter. This is also important when it comes to theses. If you're submitting a thesis or final year project, make sure the results are okay. This is what I do. Before I do anything, I just go to the results, take a look at the results. And if the tables look okay, if you know, everything looks normal and conventional, the first impression is good. Otherwise, well, I have my doubts. Okay, this is what happens. You spend a lot of time when it comes to publication on your introduction, but you spend just a little time on your results. So this is what happens to your results usually. They don't look really good. They look like me. Yeah. All right. So focus on your results and make sure they look good before you submit. Okay. So let's recap. These were the reasons why editors or reviewers reject. The rejection reasons were originality, language, scope, format, and organization. Of course, there are other reasons. As you see, they don't add up to 100, but we didn't mention them because, you know, then we would need a one-day workshop. And these are the review rejection reasons, starting with methodology and ending with literature. As you see, they are more focused because the reviewers have more time to focus on the papers and read them. Okay, and the recap on our tricks that, you know, network, read the guidelines, and make sure you don't say it comes from your thesis, and mention your funding everybody, and also target the journals you've read, and target the journals with high publishing regularity, and spend time on the results, enough time on your results and discussion. Okay, so with that, I will end this, and then I will leave the floor for, I will leave the screen for questions. Okay, how are you?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Good,
Doctor,
Yes.
should we announce
you want
the
to
what?
announce the
Should
winner?
like I'm asking you, should we announce it now or later?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Don't keep the audience waiting.
So, okay, so I will announce the winner and then the runner-up.
No, first you
Okay.
announce the runner-up, like Academy.
Oh, first. Okay, okay. Well, just I want to tell you, Doctor, that we have like close point
Oh God,
grading.
it's very close.
Yeah,
Very close.
like between the third, the second runner-up and first runner-up and the winner, we only have like 1 point difference.
Okay, make them both runner-ups. It's all right. Be
Okay.
generous.
So we have the third. We have to be precise, like. So the third, at third place we have Mr. Shafkat, which is
All
like
right,
at
Shafkat,
6 points.
you won.
Yes.
You got 6
Thank
points.
you.
Shafkat. Does that make you happy?
Yeah, thank you. Very much happy.
Very
And Prof,
good.
nowadays I'm reviewing one of the journal here in Pakistan, UMT. It's a Y category journal from our HEC. So me and Priya both are reviewing, and this session would be very much helpful to review the journal more critically. That's why I've taken every single point with me.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Shafkat, for the positive feedback. And thank you very much for your attention. You were highly attentive. And you know what I'm doing? I was searching for Dr. Abi's message so that I could also share it here. She was asking us, yeah, I shared it in our chat. Please fill up this form. I don't know what form it is, but please fill it up. Yeah, Shafkat, you were number 3.
Thank you, Sam.
Clap hands for Shafkat.
Thank you very much, Prof.
As for the second place, we have his first runner-up. We have Amy Jan.
Amy, I was
with
expecting
with 7 points.
Who is number 1? Okay, clap hands for Amy. No, wait for it. Don't just reveal it so fast. Good job, Amy. Good job. You were very attentive. Okay, so I have number 1.
As number 1, can we have drum roll, Doctor? Can we have drum roll for number 1?
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to do that. We need a DJ. Yeah, okay.
We have Ali Lee, or Ali Lee. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name
how do you pronounce it?
wrong.
Can you type it down in the chat room?
It's Ali Lee. It's like
A-double-L-Y. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's the PhD students in our faculty.
Where are you? Share your webcam if you can. We want to see you.
At least
how do you look?
Yeah. We want to see you, yes.
Yeah, I can see your floor, the carpet, or is it a cat? Is that you, Ellie? No, that's not Ellie. That's someone else. Oh, that's Amy.
The second one.
Hey, yeah, there she is. How do you feel? You're the winner.
It was very insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the positive feedback. You know what to do. Please send your information here. I want you to share your names. Please write your name together with your number and share it here. the least thing I can do is I can give you a certificate, and you can use this later for, you can put it in your CV, yeah, and if you want to publish, you will receive a discount. I may give you a full waiver because you're a student, okay, and I know you. Okay, thank you very much. Good job. Now, at this point, what we do is I just shut up and listen to you. If you have any comments, anything, please share. Any questions, please share. I will be very happy to.
Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Can I just share, while the audience can like put forward their question, I can share something from me, like regarding like a rejection.
Please.
So regarding rejection as well, like there is like when up in the reviewing process, when we see that the paper like takes much time to get reviewed or to accept the invitation for review, you kind of feel like it's either like reviewers would prevent themselves from reviewing, just like so they wouldn't reject it in the first place. So they would try to avoid it in a way. And
good, very well said. Sahel, and reminded me of this paper. Mona, are you here, Mona? Oh God, we have this paper which has been waiting for some time now. We submitted it together with Mona, I think 6 months ago, and no news yet.
yeah.
When that happens, it scares me, because I received a paper from the same journal to review, and what happened was they haven't. Just recently, they sent us an email and they asked us to complete our submission, and I was like, what? We submitted it in September. When that happens, it means that they have been sending your paper for review, and it hasn't been reviewed, which is dangerous, because most people don't review papers that they want to reject. They just take a look at the paper and they decline. So declining is a bad sign from the viewpoint of editors. If you're sending a paper to reviewers and people decline, it means that something is wrong with the paper. Yeah, good, very well said. Which means if you have written a paper and you've submitted it to a journal and you've been waiting for 5 months, most probably it's in danger. It's in that CPR situation. So make sure you write to the editor and ask them what happened. If you don't follow up, they may write back to you after 2 years with a rejection note. Okay. So
another thing I wanna like you already touched on it a lot actually, and I just want to emphasize on this too, is that language. Actor language is very important, and not even like if the content of the paper is it's like significant and critical and also add to body of language, but presentation is always matters, just as like in life generally and also in papers. So language like vocabulary, word choice, academically like formatting, plus like the voice and style, it also matters. So if I can like just share like my screen, and then I just want to show one paper that I think it's just like it's important, like it's a good example, and just based on just face value and just from our, is that okay? I can share my screen.
Yes,
okay?
you can. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Just gonna do this in a second. And this is just based on face value, just based on few minutes, just to look through it and see me, and just based on a hunch, maybe this paper will get accepted or will get rejected. So I'll start from the rejection one, and I'll go for the accepted.
So you're saying that this paper was rejected, yeah?
Yeah, this paper was rejected.
Let's let's not know that this is rejected or accepted. Finally,
I mean,
let's scroll
Doctor,
through it.
I mean, this one just rejected just on the
Okay, you answer.
preview stage, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so just like, I will just want to look at it just quickly. We can see here the abstract. You can see that the word choice, it's not keywords, it's key terms instead of keywords. Here, like we can just note just on few, just glances, we can see there are like do not here, wrong spelling. Here, like the author said, define instead of quoting, and we don't know whether this is quotation or definition. We have here like some capitalization and punctuation errors, the way citation, and so on and so forth. So some here we can see, we would just ask why this is, why this, like the font is red, not black. So just this is maybe it sounds like minor, or it sounds not like really like.
It's not minor, you know, it's bad. It's like you invite someone to your house and they come to your house and they see your pants somewhere, your shirt somewhere else, and they see everywhere is messy. It's bad, you know. When you submit a paper for review, it should look good. It's like you inviting someone to your house. It should be neat. So if there are language errors, it means you're just giving them a very easy reason to reject.
And then just one move. And like I said, previous manuscript was rejected on preview stage, and this one was submitted to IGL's in last issue, IGL's last issue, and then was accepted.
Yeah, this was a good paper. This was a good.
Yes.
I like.
And actually, we can see just like I said, just on a face value, we can see like Latin, you can see like the part there, like abstract. We have introduction. We have literature review here, and it talks specifically. It's within the scope, which is literacy. That's about how literacy can help the world move forward. And it shows, and we can just go, we can scroll down very at the end, you can see references, abundance of references, very well cited, very well like formatted. So without looking at the content, we can like have, we can say probably this paper has like higher chance to get accepted from within our editors. So that's I would say that's enough for me.
Excellent.
I can stop sharing, Doctor.
Excellent. Okay? Thank you very much for sharing. Very true. You know, the face value of a paper. Some papers will be like, you know, when your friend invites you over. Some people, when they, of course, not these days, but you know, in olden days, when people invited you over, and they said, "Yeah, why don't you come?" But you also have people who invite you, like, you know, they invite you. And when you go to their place, everything is shiny. They have prepared the house. And the tea is ready. The dinner is ready. You love that. You love being there. Everything is inviting. Some papers are like that. But other papers just tell you no. Just decline. Don't go in. This is not an invitation. Yeah. Thank you very much, Shafkat. While you were, Sohail, while you were talking, Shafkat asked me for a workshop. I would love that, Shafkat. I would love that. I love sharing and I love talking about publication. Dr. Abe, yeah, thank you very much. Dr. Abe, if you would like to talk about Nicolette, I will stop and please go ahead and talk. How are you? Are you there? Can you talk? So
Hi, Dr. Wahid. Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry for interrupting your workshop for a short while.
It's not an interruption. We are here because
I'm
of
just,
Nicolette.
I'm just, you know, sharing some things which are happening soon in March. So I'm just using your chat box. I hope you don't mind. have to invite me to speak or what. But following the response that I can see in this session, I believe those who are attending today will benefit more from the workshop that we have set up during Recollect date, which are from 23rd to 21st of March, 25th of March 2021. So I'm just sharing the website. So feel free to browse our website to find out more. And Dr. Wahid, this is excellent. This is good. Well done, and well done for those who attended and asked all these very useful questions. That's it for me, Dr. Wahid. I hope that you don't mind. I keep on sharing something in your chat box. Yeah.
Not at all. This belongs to you, and you are the boss. We are here because of Recollect. Dr. Abaya is our chair, and this was her idea. We should do these more often. We don't have to have a conference to do this. Yeah, so we could have more sharing sessions. Thank you very much. Okay, so it is if there is anything related to publication, rejection, any experiences that you may have had, please share. Otherwise, we can stop it at this point. You don't have to go on up to 11:30. Excuse me. Is that a question from Lou? What I want to know is whether it is necessary.
So, Prof, is there any personal likes and dislikes on the part of the editors?
Sorry, Shaka, I was reading Lou's question.
Yeah,
Yes.
so is there any effects of personal likes and dislikes of the editors?
Personal? You mean biased editors?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it happens. It happens. In fact, some journals are very cruel. I remember there was this journal I submitted my paper to, and I went through a lot of trouble. It was MLA, so I had to include in those years we had to do it manually.
Doctor?
So after
Okay.
I submitted the paper, sorry, Sohail, they rejected it because they said this is from Malaysia. We are not interested in papers from Malaysia. This is an American journal. And we are not lucky because a lot of those top ranking journals are from that part of the world, and they are usually focused on that part of the world. So there are a lot of choices that we miss. Yeah, so hey, what was that?
Thank you, sir.
We have here a primary school student, and you asking that question about PhD student.
What was that? What was that? I didn't get to read the whole question. What is it? Go ahead.
So it says, what I want to know is whether it is necessary to publish some articles of low quality. Some journals I just need to pay some money, but maybe it will give me confidence or help me apply to be a PhD student. When I apply to PhD, they will ask me, do you have some published paper? And then it says, I am just a primary school student.
No, I like that. Well, the problem is that today, I think it was yesterday, we had a workshop on predatory journals. That's the heated debate. A lot of people are talking about journals getting money, publishing, which is of course not ethical. But to me, from an editor's point of view, let's not call them predatory journals. Let's call them predatory authors who pay to get published. There is a market demand. When there is a market demand for something, there will be a supply. The problem is our mentality. By everybody, I mean universities. They push students to publish, and that has implications. That has complications. It creates problems later because we push students who are not ready to publish before we give them their certificate. or before we offer them scholarships, well, every type of paper will be published. Is it a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. I see it as a professional development platform. We publish, and sometimes after we publish, we regret we publish. So we publish another paper and we question ourselves. Is it a good thing? Yes, why not? Because we are humans and we develop. So what we do is definitely not the best. Yeah, later, after perhaps a year or 3 months, we will question whatever we did and we will regret it. So what I'm saying is, well, if you are sure that the quality is low, don't submit it. But if you think the paper is decent, if it is decent, just submit it. Don't be very ambitious. Just submit it to our journal, JLC. We have a lot of good journals. JML, also has a journal. So university affiliated journals, they usually don't have processing fees because they are sponsored by universities. So publish with them. Yeah. Could I answer your question, Lou? And don't call yourself a primary student. Yeah, you definitely know a lot. Even primary students know a lot. Elisa sometimes teaches me English. Yeah, Elisa is my daughter, by the way. She's 5 years old. Yeah, okay. Any more comments? Anything? Okay. Thank you very much for the positive energy. So how you've taken note of those names, right? The winners. What I meant when I said certificates, I meant certificates for those who won, the 3 people who won. But as I see, you have left your names and matric numbers there, so which means you want me to give you certificates for participation in this workshop, which I will. It's extra homework for me, but that's okay. I will do that. But then the question will be, how would I share those certificates with you? Perhaps I will do that and I will upload them in the drive, and I will share the link to the drive in our WhatsApp groups, and then you can share the link together with those friends, or you can write to me and I will share the link with you. You have my WhatsApp number, right? So we will keep record of this chat room, and we will come up with those certificates. Okay, you want to see my email address? I'll just leave it here. And it's also it's also in our faculty website. I left my email address here, and it got buried somewhere there. Okay, so I will pause my recording here. Thanks for those who watch this recording. If you have any comments, please leave those comments in the comments box below. See you again soon with more workshops, hopefully.